Hello and welcome to CNN Money Switzerland's summer series, where we'll be exploring some of the key megatrends shaping the world of work. Today our topic is diversity, and I'm delighted to be joined by Nadine Jürgensen and Pirmin Meyer from the platform We Men, a platform promoting gender diversity by mobilizing men as well as women. Thank you very much for joining us.
Hi,
thank you
so much
for having us.
So, do we need more men standing up for women? Maybe Pirmin, if you take that one.
I will start, yeah. Actually, men are not present in the public discourse when it comes to gender equality. And this is in contrast to the still existing all-male panels on any topic. So I think that's where women come in. And we have actually 3 rules. First, women refuses to participate in panels where women aren't represented. Second, we want to foster a positive dialogue beyond blaming and shaming in order to question and break social patterns. Third, we are not politically affiliated, but a platform for interest groups and also individuals.
Okay, and so you've mentioned what your mission is there, but how are you going to kind of carry that out? What's your plan? Because you started We Men last year, so how are you going to get more men involved in the conversation and get more women involved in public discourse? Nadine, if you want to take this.
Yes, for sure. Well, for now it's really a social media campaign, and we're really happy that we have over 70 people that already joined, so we're a little bit more men than women. That support us, and it has been incredibly speeding up. So for now it's just really to get some more awareness on the topic, but of course we have more plans ahead where we want to go on with women.
And do you think, I mean, why are men reluctant to get involved in promoting gender equality? Well,
if I may take that one, you know, I have been writing about gender equality for many years for the newspaper I was working for, and also as a freelancer. And I realized that, you know, my community has always been female, and I realized at the end, you know, if we really want to change something, I need some male supporters as well. And so I actually got, 4 years ago, we got in contact together because he was one of the, you know, only males that would basically also respond on my articles. And I think getting a male movement that works together with women to get the awareness is just going to change the plan, actually. So yeah, I think it has been working great so far, yes.
And Pirmin, same to you, really. I mean, how many men have you reached out to so far who've signed up to We Men?
Yeah, actually we have 40 men and 32 women, which is reflecting perfect our approach, because we are convinced that we are better together, and we will gain more impact if we do this with men and women on board.
When you talk to some of the men out there, what kind of feedback do you get, going back to this idea that perhaps some of them are still quite reluctant to come forward? What reasons do they give for perhaps not wanting to get involved in the gender diversity movement?
I think until now we have only very few men who engage themselves in the public discourse in the field of gender diversity, and I think we need many more men, courageous men, who go out and say, hey, it's a really important issue to me too. And I'm deeply convinced that everything starts on an individual basis. Every one of us can do something, and maybe a starting point is to think about what mental load is and talk to your partner about it. Then you can be part of the solution and maybe contribute to a fair distribution of paid and unpaid work. And I think this is a really important thing.
Yeah, and you know, I think also, you know, all of the guys that we work together now, I mean, they claim themselves being a feminist. And I think it's something that is still very scary to say for many men in Switzerland, you know, because they feel feminism is only a movement for women. But what I think and what we live is an integrative feminism, which means that, you know, there's role models for men as well where they can't break out in this country, you know. So I think it's very important that we realize that this movement, what we try to do, you know, this awareness we try to show will also be to the benefit of men, because it just brings equality, you know, on both sides of the calculation.
And in fact, that's a good point, because we often talk about there not being enough role models for women out there, but actually, are there enough role models for feminist men?
There's almost none. So this is what I think is so great. You know, Pirmin, I mean, you call yourself a proud feminist, right?
That's right, yeah. Because I'm convinced that at the end of the day, it's for the benefit of both, for men and women. It dissolves biased gender roles and also challenges what manhood is. Basically, I think every man must decide whether he wants to emancipate himself or not.
And that kind of ties into your own personal story for why you kind of co-founded this WE Men, your own personal experience at work with gender, kind of some already set gender roles.
I think the most radical change in my life was the birth of my first son. And I reached out to my formerly boss and told him that I want to reduce my workload and work in part-time. And he looked at me like I was nuts. And so I didn't understand this. And yeah, it made me think about it. Why is that? Why are there not more men in my department who wants to reduce their work time, and why it's not completely natural to want something like this?
And do you think, are you going to be looking at targeting any specific sectors in the workplace? Are there any particular areas of business, for example, that you think women are less heard than others?
You know, sad enough, I think any sector in Switzerland really can improve.
That's the thing, you've got quite a big
I don't think there's any industry where you could say, you know, oh, you know, they have done everything right. I think there's big companies that, you know, move on, they have parental leave and everything, but I think we need to change policies on a political level. So we need a parental leave, we need individual taxations, we need day schools. I mean, these are just political, you know, questions we need to solve. But then on the other hand side, we need in the enterprises, we need a change of a mindset. So, you know, we have been talking about, you know, maybe establishing gender equality consultancy out of women, maybe doing a spin-off or something like that. We're just at the very beginning, but I think there's a lot of potential for this, you know, to just, you know, be there as a role model, and then also show, you know, how things could work or how things could change. Part-time for guys, home office, you know, we have seen with Corona many possibilities now that actually make, you know, flexible workforce and all that more possible.
And you mentioned obviously the outbreak, the coronavirus crisis. I mean, how has that impacted steps that we've taken so far in improving diversity?
It's so weird. I have been talking to a journalist friend of mine, and I think I have, and I also made on my Instagram account a little questionnaire. So there's two groups, right? There's the families where the dads came home and they realized this immense, like this massive work women have to do on top of, you know, their jobs. And they kind of stepped in and they realized, you know, the mental work, you know, all the things you need to organize, the communication, and they kind of stepped in, and actually the relationships got a lot better. And then there was this other sector where the women were doing work which was relevant to the system, and the guys were working too, and for them it got worse. So I kind of seen both, and I've had reflection of both sides. So it's kind of weird how, you know, it really depends, as Pirmin said, also on an individual side with the couple, with, you know, the woman and the man, how they work together and what kind of jobs they're in.
So it's hard really to draw a conclusion as to whether it's helped progress or if it's just
I mean, it has been a regression for sure for some part of our society, and then on the other hand side, I think it has also moved a lot. So I can't really say, you know, it's one or the other. I think it's both.
And how about moving forward? I mean, from now, I mean, at the moment we've seen the outbreaks not going away anytime soon, but beyond this, where do you see things going?
Well, you know, I mean, it's just, I mean, I remember when I was working at the newspaper, my boss told me it was not for me able to do my work from home, you know. And now I just walked by the offices and everyone is doing home office and the newspaper is there the next morning. So obviously it does work. It needs a change of mind, of the mindset. And this is exactly why we do Women. You know, we have to talk about things and we have to say, you know, it's possible, we can facilitate it if you really want it, you know.
Thank you very much for your insights on this. We really look forward to seeing what's next for Women, and thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
And remember, you can find all of our content on our website, cnnmoney.ch, and our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Take care. Goodbye.